Welcome back to another installment of the Purple Rain podcast. Once again, welcome back to episode 165, the Pat McCarry, the Chris Chester, an offensive line episode of the Purple Rain podcast. First and foremost, let me get out the way. Follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this cool cat over here on Instagram, on Twitter at SunDef. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, Manscaped, our lovely sponsor. If you need to get anything, for the area down there, it is a little chilly today, but when it does get warmer, I think it's time to, do some landscaping or some manscaping.
Yeah.
Go online, get something nice for yourself. Use code PRP, 20% off your order and free shipping. The kicker.
Yeah. And as we know, it does not get much better than that. Like my guy Alex said, welcome back to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 165. We want to thank all of you guys, each and every one of you guys in the live chat right now for showing up early and often. We love you guys. The April 123 DLC, Dre's in the building as well. Mod K-Dog in the house, shouting out the replay gang. Let's go ahead and give our shout out to the replay gang right here, right now. Listen, if you're not watching this podcast live, and you're a part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for joining this episode as well. Make sure you leave your comments, questions, concerns, anything that you might want to say down below in the comment section, because we do get to those. Get to those. So yes. We appreciate you guys for coming through. I see we got Rico in the house as well. Says what's good, Rain Gang. I think it's like messing up a little bit right now, but what's going on, Rico? Appreciate you for coming through. Listen, guys, I think that this is a very important episode. We're not going to hold you guys up too long on this episode, but we got some important things to say, because today is a day that the Ravens were provided clarity as to what the market is for a franchise quarterback right now. So that's what we're here to talk about today. I mean, we're talking about ultimatums. We're talking about, Lamar, Jalen Hurts. We're talking a little bit about Anthony Richardson. We're going to get into all that good stuff. Before we do, make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps us out a ton. It really does. It really does. If you want to help us grow, if you want to see us grow, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you are new here. Okay. So let's not even, mince any more words, Alex. Okay. We got some big news today. Breaking news coming out of Philadelphia. So obviously the Eagles signed Jalen Hurts to a 5-year, $250 million contract with $110 million fully guaranteed and $179 million with other guarantees that require a couple things to happen. So overall, a really nice contract for Jalen Hurts, right? Do you think that he deserved that, or do you think he deserved more?
I think he deserved that. I think they're being smart, and he's his second or third year starting, I believe, going into his third year starting.
Third year.
So,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, to get that type of payday for only starting 2 years before, I mean, good for them. They can control their roster. I know their defense has lost a lot of players, but they got some back on 1-year deals, lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but I saw they're interested in Budda Baker. So that's not that big of a drop-off, where it's kind of the same level of production from the safety. But kudos to the Eagles for getting it done. They were just in the Super Bowl last year, put up, 35 points, scoring at hand. We know about the second half. We know all about that. But, they have A.J. Brown. They have Devonta Smith on that rookie deal, I think, for 3 more years. They don't really pay their running backs because they do produce. And they have Dallas Goedert locked up. Their line's basically locked up. Offense is looking good for them. They just can add to it. I saw that they've been being mocked by Bijan Robinson. That would be a hell of a draft pick for them, honestly. But kudos to Philadelphia. I mean, they got it done. Low-key, kind of not a Waj bomb, but it was a bomb. It was a bomb nonetheless. Came out of nowhere. But what are you thinking about it?
Man, I mean, my first thoughts were, well, we knew this was coming down the pipeline. These other quarterbacks were getting ready to get paid. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, all those kind of guys. And Lamar still has not gotten his deal. So obviously, as a Ravens fan, my mind immediately went to Lamar Jackson. Immediately. Very happy for Jalen Hurts again. Kudos to him. Kudos to the Philadelphia Eagles franchise, because that is something that you need to get done. I feel like, and they got it done at the perfect time. Going into his third year, like you mentioned, like I wish that the Ravens would have gotten something like that done with Lamar Jackson. I know at the time Lamar didn't necessarily want to come to the table. He was still quote unquote betting on himself, which is where I give Lamar some of the blame too here. I feel like he should have definitely came to the table when it was time to come to the table and eat, instead of like putting it off until later. Before we get into anything else, Chike, with the
Chica.
first super chat donation of the episode, we thank you so much, man. Dropping the 2-piece in the chat. We appreciate you, brother. It says expectations for the season, chat, Sutton, and Alex.
Definitely is
Expectations for the season.
contingent upon quarterback one.
Yeah.
Because if he is there, conference championship has to be.
Okay. Conference championship. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. But
Yeah.
that's if he is there and he has a healthy squad around him, like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
a lot of things need to happen. That's why expectations is really just a crapshoot, And I know during the off season, that's all we're doing. It's just a crapshoot of ideas and whatnot of what could possibly happen the next following season.
Yeah.
But realistic expectations for the season, I would say divisional round. I would
Okay.
say divisional round. Yeah. And I know that's not lofty because we haven't been able to get past that in so many years now.
Yeah.
But just kind of where we are. And again, it's very contingent upon who's playing quarterback for us. And it doesn't really look like that situation is getting much better as we speak. So let's circle it back to what we came here to talk about, because our expectations are fully relying upon what happens with Lamar Jackson. And based off of what happened with Jalen Hurts, things just got a little bit more interesting. So let me break down the side-by-side comparison per
Oh.
Sarah Ellison. Shout out to SG Ellison. Total value on the contract that Jalen Hurts received is $255 million. I said 250 earlier. That's my mistake. Lamar Jackson was offered $250 million as a total value contract. Fully guaranteed at signing, Jalen Hurts just signed for $110 million. Lamar Jackson turned down $133 million fully guaranteed at signing. Now, let me stop right there, because fully guaranteed at signing numbers is really the only number that matters. That's the only one that
Yeah.
matters. You know, for some reason, for some strange reason, the NFL or the people whoever dropped these contracts, they thought it was a good idea to just throw the word guarantee out there, just all willy-nilly, and so people are thinking that like, Lamar Jackson was offered $200 million guaranteed. Like that was going around on the internet
Yeah.
earlier today. And one could just look at that and assume like, oh, $200 million guaranteed. Guarantee, literally the definition of it is something that it's going to happen. It's 100% chance. As soon as
Yes.
you sign this piece of paper, 100% chance that money is yours.
Yep.
Nothing else has to happen. So I don't like the fact that, the word guarantee is thrown around a whole lot. But getting back to it, fully guaranteed at signing is the important number here that we should be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact that Jalen Hurts signed for $110 million fully guaranteed at signing, and Lamar Jackson turned down $133 million guaranteed at signing, I think that this makes Lamar Jackson look bad. I think it does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I don't know what Lamar Jackson is thinking right now, but boy, would I love to be inside of his head, because he's got to be like thinking like I probably gotta walk back and meet the Ravens in the middle here somewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think you made fantastic points, and they're all correct. I agree with you 100%. I am what you call a Lamar Jackson stan. I think that is fair to say. Sometimes in my eyes, he can do no wrong, but right now, I think a little bit of wrong has happened. That now, do we even know if it was that 3 year, 133 guaranteed, fully guaranteed? Hell, 3 years, 5 years, he was making more money for with those total guarantees, and he definitely would have played out the 3 years. As for the 5 years, I know there was the whole like the I word guarantee.
Right.
I believe his was at 176.5 and Jalen Hurts is like 179 million. I think I saw Sarah tweet that, I believe, or post it somewhere. But if we're gonna, nickel and dime over those 3 or 4 million, Ravens just bump it up to 180 at that point. I mean, he's worth it. I think Lamar's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Unfortunately, he does not have the playoff success that Jalen Hurts has. Made the Super Bowl. But with that being said, I would just love for us to just get this over with, because
Oh
it
yeah.
is getting, because if Burrow or Herbert, both fantastic quarterbacks, get paid more than Hurts, then I think we have that problem. I think a big problem. I think Burrow's going to get a little bit more than Hurts. I'm
Yeah,
thinking like 5,270, maybe 5,280. But
yeah.
yeah.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair for sure. I think Burrow could make an argument that he could get a little bit more than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, but this is again, it's just interesting to me because Lamar, like for so long, we were defending Lamar for turning down deals like this $133 million guaranteed because it's like no, Deshaun Watson got 230. He got
Yeah.
230, just a year ago. But now we're getting further and further away from that quote unquote precedent that never really became a precedent because the NFL owners all got together and said, hey, look, we're not doing that, what the Browns just did, you know? So it puts Lamar in a very, very tough situation because, like I said, now again, this pulls the leverage back into the Ravens' hands, you know, and that's two moves in a row now. That's two back-to-back moves in a row that pull the leverage into the Ravens. They just signed Odell on Easter, and now this whole Jalen Hurts thing. That's two back to back. Before they were ping ponging, it was back and forth,
Right.
one for
Right.
one. But that's two strikes. That's two unanswered strikes from the Ravens. So it seems like if they're gonna get something done, maybe Lamar Jackson, maybe he's a little bit more open to it now. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope so. And just the way the contracts have gone out too. Just looking at some of the teams that gave out the contracts, the Cardinals are like in hell right now. They're just, I think they might be probably one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL right now. The way things are going, Buda Baker requesting a trade, D Hop, the whole allegations going on inside.
Yeah,
New coach, quarterback is not healthy right now. Paid him all this money. I think the Ravens kind of looked at that and were like, we don't want to get caught up in that because once you pay your quarterback, how are you going to pay everybody else? That's why it's really big on managing, what you're offering them. But with a quarterback like him, I think he's got to, back up the Brinks trucks. You have to, because you saw what Tyler Huntley did last year. The offense didn't put up 20 points in those games.
right.
20 points. That's 3 touchdowns. That's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. I know it's NFL is, football is a very hard game, but you're professional athletes. I don't think 20 points in 5, 6 games is asking for a lot.
No,
Couldn't do that.
yeah, yeah, could not do it like at all. And I got to give credit where it's due. The Ravens they've made certain steps this offseason in order to improve the offense. It's just the ultimate step, which is making sure that their quarterback is happy. That
Yep.
step hasn't been met yet. I mean, they've gotten rid of the old offensive coordinator, right, and got a new guy who looks to be more progressive, more spacing, things like that, more balanced. They got an Odell Beckham Jr. who can be a fringe, I would say, wide receiver one if he's healthy and
Yeah.
things are going really, really well. So they're kind of taking those steps to try to help out Lamar Jackson, which is another reason where if I'm Lamar, I'm saying, hey, I mean, the Ravens is not a bad destination. I've been here, like we're
Yeah.
finally getting rid of that coordinator. So I'm going to get somebody new, finally going to be able to get to graduate in my play style and my
Yeah.
game, things like that. I've got an Odell Beckham Jr., one of the I guess premier receivers in the league, one of the coolest guys in the league. Uh, I don't know. Everything is just pointing towards like, hey, Lamar, just come on back.
Right.
Then
Right.
there's
Right.
Jalen Hurts thing as well. It's just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
And then kind of shifting to this ultimatum that Lamar supposedly made. I think it was Michael. Was it Michael Fabiano? I believe was that the one. Um, he's heard that Lamar told the Ravens that he would sign if they got DeAndre Hopkins and Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
Yeah. So let's kind of just backtracking. We already signed Odell. We have Rashad Bateman. Hell, I sometimes forget we signed Nelson Aguilar. If we were to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, if D Hop, Odell, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, I'm not hating that.
Oh no,
I am
not at all.
you. Oh, it was Mike Lombardi. Okay. I am not hating that at all. I think that is a really good receiving core, probably arguably maybe up there with 2012 with Bowden, Jacoby, and Torrey. But man, thinking about that and with Todd Monken,
Yeah.
it would be about time that we, went after some receivers. But with the Ravens and with the picks, I don't think they trade for him. I think they would hope he gets cut. But even then, we don't have the cap space to compete with other teams.
So, I mean, essentially, and the reason why I feel like it kind of does make sense for Lamar to, I guess, make a proposition like that to the Ravens is that, hey, like if you want me to come in and sign this $32 million, this measly $32 million franchise tag, then hey, go out and get me Odell Beckham and get me DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm going to bet on myself again this year. But this time, I'm making sure that I have insurance. I have actual help here that is going to be, objectively a needle mover.
Yeah,
So I think it would make sense from that perspective. But at the same time, man, if I'm Lamar, if I'm Lamar Jackson, and let me get to DLC super chat donation. Thank you so much, DLC,
thank
dropping the two
you.
piece in the chat. Says, but the incentive was easily obtainable. Yeah, yeah, but again, it's just not guaranteed, not fully guaranteed money, and I think that's the kind of the standard that we're
Yeah,
looking for right now. Um, but yeah, I can't remember what I was saying before that. What was I saying, Alex?
and we're talking about the weapons, and then Lamar using his talking about the ultimatum and all that.
Oh, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that it would definitely make sense from that perspective if Lamar Jackson, wanted to go ahead and just sign that $32 million franchise tag and say, hey, look, just get me all the help that you can get.
Yeah,
But at the same time, if I'm Lamar, and this is what I was getting ready to say, at this point, I want a 3-year deal from the Ravens. I don't want a 5-year deal. And if I'm the Ravens, I want to offer Lamar a 3-year deal, not a
yeah,
5-year deal. Because the biggest reason why they haven't gotten anything done is because I feel like the Ravens don't feel like they can trust Lamar long term. Long term. And so if I'm Lamar, I'm like, okay, if that's how you feel, cool. Let's do 3 years, right? And I'll get 3 seasons to make good on my promise for a Super Bowl. If I win that Super Bowl, hey, I'm gonna be right back at the table in 2 3 years, and I'm gonna get another big bag of money. So it's like you literally can't lose on either side of that because say if it doesn't work out in the next 3 seasons, then the Ravens can let him walk. So
yeah.
I think it's just I don't know 3 years, $153 million, something like that.
That's
Boom.
what Hurts is getting because he's getting that 51 a year is what his average is, with guarantees and all. But if it was 3 years 151 with the 133 million guaranteed, I think that's very respectable. I think that
Yeah.
is very, very respectable. And then you're just going to be in line for a second contract. So if you
Yep.
ball out on that 3 years, and you're going to get paid again, which I know some players have done. I forget who. There's been a couple players that they'll ball out, get a contract. They'll be like 27 when that contract ends, and they get another contract. They're double dipping.
Yeah.
So I would really hope that would be the case. Like I said, I just wanted to get it over with, whether it be 3 years, 5 years. I just wanted to be something that we don't have to talk about for 2, 3 more years, maybe, because I feel like what we are doing right now, this team definitely has a little bit of could be special, could be, but we just don't know yet. We just don't know.
Yeah. We really don't. We really don't. But we appreciate your super chat donation, DLC. About 71 people watching live right now. Thank you guys
What's
so
going
much for
on?
coming through to this episode 165 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. DLC says the deal was 3.
Yeah,
It was 3 years, 133. That's the deal we're talking about, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So man, this whole Jalen Hurts situation is really got us in a spot now where the timing of it all. I mean, what do you think happens with the draft being in like a week and this news of Hurts and where Lamar might stand? Do you think
Yeah.
it would be good for Lamar to try to get a deal done with the Ravens, or do you think he still wants to wait until after the draft and see what another team offers him?
I would think he's probably gonna wait after, but I saw the Patriots. I think they're out on him, and it looks like the Colts are meeting with all these quarterbacks. It's looking like Bryce Young's going to be the number one going to the Panthers. I don't even think the Texans are. They've been getting calls for the number 2 pick, so it's very
Yep.
possible that Stroud doesn't even go 2. Um, I don't. That's the thing with the draft, but I think he'll wait till after if he were to sign. But knowing
Yeah,
how this has gone, we really don't know.
we really don't. Shout out to Cam the Baptist coming through. Says PRP. What's going
What's
on,
going on,
brother?
Cam?
All right. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in here about this whole Jalen Hurts and then how it affects Lamar's situation, because it definitely affects Lamar. Uh, mm, Spencer says he's falling behind getting in tone with the team. I don't like what he's done. He's got no work with the offensive coordinator or the weapons. Demanded Odell Beckham is not flying out somewhere with him to practice. Okay.
I mean, it's voluntary. I'm not gonna. I mean, I would like for him to get some work, but at the same time, it's only April. Now, if we're in June, July, OTAs, minicamp, then there could be a problem. But right now, I'm kind of just laid back about it because it's really out of our control. We can't do anything about
Alex,
it, unfortunately.
Alex, I want to get your take on what you think about the whole Lamar Jackson not having an agent situation. Because I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was kind of explaining to me like why it really is like detrimental to Lamar's career that he doesn't have an agent. Because if you think
Mhm.
about, if he did the whole like double dipping and everything like that, he probably would have done that because that's a smart thing to do. And most
Yeah,
agents, when I feel like that's what Josh Allen's agent told Josh Allen. Like,
yeah,
hey, get to the table early so we can get to the table later on, again.
yeah.
And I guess nobody was there to tell that to Lamar. And you also got to think too. If Lamar had an agent, man, he would probably have a sunglasses deal, a sneaker deal, like all this stuff, all this different stuff going on. Way better business ventures, and I can confidently say that.
Then
think I
Ken
can confidently
Francis,
say that.
better
Then
than
a
Ken
Ken
Francis.
Francis, like whoever that NPC is. We don't even know who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So
The
like I
Strangers
think
and
that,
Freaks mission in GTA. That's what he ran into.
yeah, pretty much. So like I just think that with an agent, I do agree with people when they say that like dude needs an agent, man. He needs an agent. I understand like standing for what you're standing
Yeah.
for and trying to come to the table yourself and empower players to be able to do that going forward, but it's just not too much. I don't really see how that's really benefiting anybody, really. Am I wrong for saying that?
I don't think you're wrong at all. I mean, I would have liked for him to get a deal done without an agent because I know Richard Sherman didn't have one. A couple other guys have it. I think Larry Tunsil, he did his own. Um, I think Taquan, he brought it up. Like, that was one of the players, who's gotten paid twice along with his rookie deal. Shout out to him. Considering the way his career started with the whole gas mask video, him to get two big contracts, kudos to him and being your own agent. But yeah, I saw there was like a side by side comparison between him and Josh Allen with all the money made with contracts, with sponsorships. I think he's like Josh Allen's on Gillette, I believe, and stuff like that. Definitely hurts. It definitely hurts, but I think he's gonna stand 10 toes down on not having an agent, and we'll see where it goes. But I thought he had an Oakley deal. I thought he did. I
I
don't know
thought
what.
he did too. It was like very brief.
Yeah, and then I remember he was on a commercial. I think was it DraftKings last year. I know he was on a commercial like during the Super
He
Bowl.
was, yeah, he was on a DraftKings commercial, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Now I I can see why it does hurt. I can definitely see why it hurts.
Cam the Baptist says, you're not wrong, but are those outside endorsements something that he's concerned about? Just something to keep in consideration.
That's
And,
true.
I get that, but obviously he is concerned about the money. And these outside endorsements, they will pay him a lot of money. I man, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm hitting up my connections, people that I have around me. If you don't trust most of these agents out here or whatever, you just don't want to give anybody your business, whatever. I get it. You want to keep things in the family, or you want to keep things close to home. Maybe you don't do something within like your immediate family, but like hit up your connections. I know guys like LeBron James. You've been on the shop. Like hit him up and be like, hey, look, who do you got talking for you? And we already know who
Right.
that is.
Right.
But I just think that there could have been a much better way to go about this whole situation. Could have been getting paid way more, been happy where he is right now, and we would not be talking about this. But it's something that obviously is very important to Lamar Jackson. You know,
Hmm.
trying to empower players and make sure that he makes that statement. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Flo
We are
Knows
coming
says
from.
here, holding out has costed him. It's a fact. The man said his goal is to be a billionaire. The home gym ain't it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody bring up about Roquan. Khan said may not win all that. He got his own stuff going on. Look at Roquan, and that's true. And kudos to Roquan for being at the voluntary offseason workouts. I do respect that's big thing. You got paid $100 million and you're there. You're there with the team, so I definitely respect that. Um, and I feel like also too, I'm not speaking for him, but he has his own restaurant, which I think is doing good. The plate action soul food, I follow
Yeah.
that. Like it's always doing good business. And whenever that man will put out merch like that, gone. I mean gone. Like I couldn't even get my hands on any of his Era 8 apparel. So there's so much stuff that we don't know, which is like why I know I don't like talking about it because I don't want to talk about another man's pockets. But I just want it to get done and for him to be a Raven, playing that black and purple. 8-3. See Odell hit a dance in the end zone. See Lamar come and congratulate him. That's all I really am asking for. Like
Yeah.
Sunday
I
Night
mean,
Football, all black uniforms. I'm not asking for
oh
that
my
much.
God. Yeah. Monday night. Yeah, I can already see. By the way, quick sidebar. If you guys don't follow Simply as 10 on TikTok, you should definitely follow him on TikTok. He is a really, really good follow. If you want to see just random NFL outtakes with
Thank you.
mic'd up moments you've never heard
Thank you.
before from old and new players,
Oh,
please follow him on
thank
TikTok
you.
because it's the most entertaining stuff that I just randomly come across. It'll be like Ray Lewis saying something I've never heard Ray Lewis say before.
Oh, he got a good deal on his car insurance. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I never heard that one before. I don't know why, but
it's crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy because like that mic'd up stuff. I mean, I think that's interesting. Like hearing these guys are trying to hurt, like, not trying to hurt each other, but full speed. You're in the zone and then just on the sidelines. Just chatting it up. It's very interesting. But thank you really
yeah,
appreciate
of course, of course. Let's see. We got a guy, Hoodie Ramey, in the house. Shout out to Ramey, man.
it. Big
Says,
shout
I
out.
just hope it all works out for Lamar and the Ravens. I cannot lie. But if Lamar steps on the field again without a deal, I'm going to be real disappointed as a fan of the player.
Yeah, I'd be worried,
Mm,
real worried. Um,
I just
I don't
don't
even
know
want to.
how morale would be for a Lamar Jackson. Like, how much do you really want to pour into this team knowing that they're not willing to pour into you? You
Right,
know,
right. I mean, I feel
you
like he's
have
a
to make
guy
your
that,
quarterback happy.
yeah, I feel like he gives 110% on the field. We've seen that, we've seen how passionate he is about the game. Nobody's questioning that. It's just I want to see players get paid. I don't want to see something bad happen to them and then it diminishes their value because I feel
My
like
thing is,
everybody,
I want Lamar Jackson to be all in though. I want him to be all in.
yeah,
We know he gives it 110% on the field, but I miss the old Lamar in 2019. In those times where he was getting involved with everything, team meetings. Remember there were reports last year
Skip
that he was
Bayless.
you know missing team meetings or showing up late and not really being as involved. Things like that. Like we need this guy all in. If he is our franchise, we need him all in. And in order to get that out of him, we have to pay him. We have to pay him. So
Yeah, and I mean, it's just I hate us being that team. I hate us being that team that has this stuff coming out because we don't even know if it's true. I mean, we had Stephen A. talking about it. Like Stephen A. can barely even name, these players in the NFL. He's mainly basketball, knows the stuff about football, the basic stuff, but
right.
it's like people are speaking on the team's name, and I just do not like that.
Yeah. Ramey says here at the end of the day, it feels like he is trying to seek his max value, but at what point do you just compromise and get your security? Exactly. It's a bizarre situation. It
That's a
is.
great word, bizarre, because yeah, I can't think of anything like this in recent memory. I mean, Earl Thomas flipped off Pete Carroll, but he's a safety. He's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And that's why I really it's a bizarre situation, which is why I was saying earlier, I would love to pick Lamar Jackson's brain about where he is with all this right now.
yeah,
Because it seems like he wants to stand on his word, and be prideful about it and things like that. And the more time that goes by, the harder that's going to be. The more
yeah,
deals that go down, Hurts just got paid. It was less than what Deshaun Watson got. Burrow's going to get paid. It's going to be less fully guaranteed money than what Deshaun Watson got.
yeah,
Same thing with Justin Herbert. So it's
yeah,
like Ramey says, at what point do you realize okay, these guys clearly are not going to give me that. So let me just go get what I can get. And hey, if you need to make up that extra money, the endorsements are right there. I mean, Lamar
yeah.
Jackson said it himself. He plans on balling out no matter what team he's on. He tweeted a couple months ago. He said, "Hey, look, I don't know how this is all going to turn out, but At the end of it, I feel sorry for the other 31 teams. That's what he
Yeah.
said. So he plans on balling out, obviously. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
It
get back
it
on the
feels
field,
like
man. Yeah.
it's like a couple, like they're meant for each other, but they're both like, I'm gonna say both stubborn, but it's
Yeah.
like just do it. Like you guys are good for each other. This side, they just got you an Odell Beckham Jr. They can re-up in the draft. They got you a new offensive coordinator, and then Lamar. It's like, well, not many people want you. It's like that meme, "Who want me?" And it says 100% no, and and it really shouldn't be like that because he's top 5 quarterback, but just how these teams are. Arthur Blank, hearing him talk about it, hearing the coach talk about like whatever. But it's just like I feel like there's a match made, and they just are both kind of like nobody wants to say yes, So
Right.
get rid of your pride. Do what's best for yourself.
Yeah. 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 You got to leave your pride at the door. You got to leave your pride at the door. Uh, man, he used the perfect word to describe it. It's a bizarre situation, and it's funny because after the Jalen Hurts news drop, you just see Lamar Jackson on Twitter just tweeting like it's normal, like not even worried about it,
Oh,
just
he did.
replying to like other funny tweets. Yeah, he like replied to like some funny tweet or something like that, just like laughing at it or something.
What
And,
a guy.
people are
What a
just like
troll.
slamming him in the
He's such a.
replies.
I
Like
love it. I love it.
it's wild. It's wild. Yeah.
QB1's a troll.
The day we get a
2023.
resolution and provided clarity as fans will be legendary. Legit might have to throw a party for it. Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, considering how happy we were for OBJ, I was very happy for that one. Yeah, definitely something crazy.
For sure, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears. Let's go ahead and shift gears here to other thing we came here to talk about, other thing that you see in the thumbnail,
Yeah,
talking about quarterbacks,
yeah,
right? And there's a couple quarterbacks coming out of the draft. There's one that a lot of Ravens fans and even Ravens officials have had their eye on.
yeah,
He goes by the name of Anthony Richardson.
yeah,
Now, apparently, the Ravens have already had 2 visits with one Anthony Richardson.
yeah.
And now they're getting a third. Is that right, Alex?
I believe so. I believe tomorrow or Wednesday.
Huh.
I
So,
am
I mean, if
bamboozled.
for lack of better words, one might say that the Ravens are doing their due diligence on Anthony Richardson and just on quarterbacks in general in the draft, which is very interesting. Very interesting.
Being mocked
Do you,
Hendon Hooker.
Now, do you think that that is also a negotiation tactic? Something that they're just kind of throwing in Lamar's face? Like, hey, look, we're shopping for other guys just in case,
Yeah,
you want to go do something else. Do you think that that's another thing?
it could be, which is like why I think you could wait till after because I don't think we're gonna draft a quarterback in the first round. I can't see any of them falling, and I don't think we would reach on a quarterback.
Yeah, we would have to definitely reach.
Yeah, because I mean, Hendon Hook, I don't think I think he's second round. I don't think he's number 22. But goodness, like you said, due diligence. I think they're like, all right, well, since you're gonna take your time with this contract, we're gonna go and dip our toes in the water, feel it out.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
And then oh yeah, while we dip our toes in the water and kind of just feel that out, we're also gonna go grab Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah. And oh
you
yeah, we
saw.
also just heard that Jalen Hurts just got paid less than what we offered you.
You see Odell,
Man,
he's having a youth camp in June or July in Baltimore. Like,
I didn't hear
hell
about
yeah.
that.
Love that for you. Thank you. Already making
Yeah,
yourself liked in Baltimore. That's how you do it. But yeah. So I just would hate
yeah,
to see like some Hendon Hooker throwing Odell, or I just want Lamar to do it. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's a night and day difference between what this team looks like with Lamar Jackson and without. We all know that firsthand. So, yeah. Spencer says he's 100 times more raw than Lamar Jackson is
Mm.
coming out. Sure. I mean, I know he's only been playing for a few years, right? Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah. I mean, he had a couple of good games last year. And then there was the good and the bad, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it is absolutely fascinating that the Ravens are, again, doing their due diligence on quarterbacks in this
yeah.
year's draft. And we're only a week out from the draft, like what, 10 days, I would say, something like that,
We are
9 days.
exactly 10 days away. 10
Yeah,
days.
yeah. So Man, you talk about clarity. We're getting clarity by the week here. NFL
Yeah,
offseason is great. NFL offseason is great, guys. We can still get on here and talk about different topics because things are just moving so quickly, man.
and
We
I
love
love
it. We
like
love it.
post June 1st cut stuff like that. We have
Yeah.
a lot to talk about.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up with this one right here. Abdul Sadiq says, "Why are the Ravens complicating this?" Let's just answer this simply. Simply.
I think both sides are complicating it. I think a contract that was fair was on the table. I think that maybe have been rescinded or dipped down a little bit because of hurt, but I feel like this could have been done. Um, and none of us know what the holdup is, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely agree there for sure. Both sides are kind of being a little bit difficult with things, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's like the couple. They're a good match for each other, but they just can't come to agreement. Things like that. They just need to because they're the best for each other. The
Yep.
Ravens are the best for Lamar. Lamar's the best for the Ravens. Like we've seen that. We've seen that. There's actual evidence that without Lamar, then the Ravens are next to nothing.
Yep.
You know,
Just hug it
with
out.
Lamar, yeah, exactly. Just hug it out. Just hug it out. Pay the man. K Dog says, PRP, are we gonna have their third annual draft stream? You know it. Yeah, next Thursday.
Last year we had like you said, 2 years that had the phone drop. When Bateman
Yeah,
was and then when Hollywood was traded.
we might get an iconic phone drop moment from one
That
Simply
was
AS10.
that was peak anger from both of us when Hollywood got traded. That was
Yeah, our knee jerk reaction to that was like honestly kind of
It's like we
wild
finally
thinking
have a
about it.
1,000-yard receiver, and then
Yep. I
oh
remember that's
man,
exactly what you said. Good times, good
yeah, good
times,
times.
man. Make sure you guys tune in next week for our draft streams. Raimi says third draft stream already is crazy. Yeah, time flies. Time flies.
Yeah, I don't think I can have
Um,
him on TV in here because I think we could get that copyright. So I'll try to have something like on the side. Because
yeah, we'll figure it out.
because the smallest thing they catch it, you're done.
Yeah. All right. So before we get out of here, we're gonna go ahead and take a couple of questions from the Rain Gang, the live chat.
Playoff time
Drop
in baseball. I
playoff
mean, not baseball,
time
basketball.
in
I'm sorry, basketball,
basketball. Yeah,
basketball.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
baseball is back, but
baseball
basketball.
is back. Yeah, basketball playoffs, NBA playoffs. Now is the time to drop your questions about any and everything. It can be about football. It can be about basketball. It can be about another sport. It can be about just anything in life. It doesn't even have to be about
Not
sports. You can
soccer,
ask us
please.
anything.
Not
Oh,
soccer.
he's banning
Please
the
not.
soccer questions today.
I'm going through it right now. All right. Your team it's like the Ravens in the fourth quarter. They blew a lead. They blew a 2-0 lead twice. All right. I'm going through it.
Ooh,
Going
they
through
blew
it.
a 2-0 twice.
And back-to-back games when you're at the top of the
Ooh,
table fighting for the title.
that's embarrassing.
This
Simply
heart can't
embarrassing.
take that much more. I'm having palpitations right now. I'm kidding. I'm not.
Oh my God. Let me see. Let me see. Sutton Alex says, "What is your upset of the first round in the NBA?"
I mean,
Mm,
I wasn't expecting the Heat to win game one, but I think the Bucks will win. I think they'll win it. Now, my Bulls did get knocked out in the play-in. I thought the Pat Bev magic would work, but it didn't, unfortunately. But my upset, I'm a KD fan. There's no way the Suns go out in the first round, right? No way.
no, no way,
No way.
no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no way.
Speaking of that game, I thought that Kevin Durant should have taken that last shot. I feel like any late game situations, like I get it, Devin Booker is his team. He was drafted there, whatever. But you hired Katie as a mercenary to
Yeah,
close games. So
yeah,
give him the
yeah,
basketball and let
yeah.
him do what he does. I feel
Agreed,
like they would have won
100%.
that game.
I upset, man.
Upset. I mean, maybe I'm looking at maybe the Kings and Warriors.
And
Because
then I can't really call Lakers Grizzlies upset because I just feel like there's some players you just can't bet against, and I feel like LeBron is one of them. He's not. I don't
for
think
sure.
he's. Yeah, I just can't call that an upset, especially if
Yeah.
Morant's out.
Oh yeah, especially if his hand is not, good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
All right, let's see. Question from Dylan Paul says, "How was y'all's day?"
Tough, but
Tough.
I woke up. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. I woke up,
You know what I
and
mean?
life is an everyday battle. That's all I gotta say.
Right. Right.
God gives his hardest task to his strongest soldiers, and God damn it, yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes we're going through it, but at least we're getting through it. Right.
exactly.
So yeah, but my day was good. Monday. Um, Mondays are always tough. Just waking up and just looking forward to another long week is. But it's a Monday. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we are full speed ahead to another weekend. I'll say that.
Right.
I'll say that. All right. Let's see. Guapo Marley says, "Are you guys expecting mini trades during the draft like I am? From like just all teams, I guess."
I
Yeah.
guess in the first round, what was there last year? The AJ Brown, the Hollywood. Then we traded back again. That was 3. There's probably more, but that's 3 off the bat.
Yeah. It's
It.
yeah, it's definitely very possible.
I feel like a team's gonna trade up for JSN.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like somebody's gonna get desperate and trade up for him. As much as I want him to be a
Mm.
Raven, um, yeah, I'll go.
Well,
I'll go over three trades in the first round. I feel like number
over three
2 could.
trades? Okay.
I feel like the second pick could get dealt before though, because apparently the Texans are taking calls on it. So if you give them a good offer, they're gonna take it. Oh, and then Dylan says you have Lions to trade up for Jamison Williams. That's 4.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. All right. Let's see here. One from Ramey says, "So if the Ravens don't draft a quarterback in the first 2 rounds, what's your percent chance that Lamar Jackson is a Raven?"
Oh,
I think it's got to be a
pretty damn good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm gonna go 70%, because at that point you have to start looking towards this next season and like, hey, who's gonna be our quarterback?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't want
Did
to
you
break
hear?
in Todd Monken with Tyler Huntley.
And did you hear about Stetson Bennett? I know he's been mocked to us, but like it's possible he could be an undrafted free agent because of like his arrests. I saw.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't read that.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
we had Brett Hundley as a camp arm last year. It wouldn't surprise me if Stetson Bennett was there this year.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
now
But
a Las Vegas Viper, I believe, or Las Vegas something in the XFL. Good for him.
yeah, that was a really good question, Ramey. I definitely think like 70% or higher though, because their hand is gonna be forced to get something
Yeah.
done. I think
Yeah.
on both ends, especially because Lamar wants to play. He wants to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. I saw one from my guy Dre. Dre says, "Do y'all think Joe Burrow gets re-signed before Lamar?" I think the Bengals are ready to go ahead and pay Joe Burrow. I think they are.
I think it's the earlier they do it, the smarter because then they can start thinking about how you're going to pay Chase.
Yeah,
I don't think Higgins is going to get paid
probably not.
unless
They'll move
if they
him.
somehow fit Chase and Higgins because Boyd will go, but Boyd's Chase and Higgins are above him. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I can see them flipping Higgins and keeping Chase for
yeah, they're
sure.
definitely going to keep them both of them. Try to keep both of them, but keeping both of them is going to be real hard. But they can do
Yeah.
it. More power to them.
Let me see. Brandon Lewis says, "I honestly think the Ravens trade out of the first."
I think it depends how it falls. I feel right now I'm 70% sure they get a defensive back. I saw we meet with Cam Smith today from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Baller. Um, if DBs don't go as early as they think, I think they would take one at 22. If there's a couple left, they would definitely trade back. I wouldn't. I want to take somebody in the first round, but if we trade back out, I wouldn't sit here and be screaming up in arms over it because I know that they do love their picks. Um, I'd be disappointed, but not surprised, kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of same here. Um, okay. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for the question segment in this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 165. Again, thank you guys all for coming through. Again, if you are part of the hashtag replay gang and you have your questions, make sure you leave your questions down below in the comments section because we do get to those. Now, we'll get out of here. A couple housekeeping things. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, like you see down below. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAS10, on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And don't forget, go on TikTok and follow SimplyAS10 as well, because there's some
Oh,
really good
thank you.
content on there, for sure.
Thank you.
With that being said, after plugging Manscaped, you can go on Manscaped.com, use our code PRP, save yourself 20% off all of Manscaped's product, their entire website. You can use our code PRP, save 20% off, and get free shipping. With that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
As always, thank you for coming through episode 165 of the Purple Rain podcast. As always, stay positive, test negative. One more thing.
And never, ever, ever forget to call God. It's been episode 165 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next